Oh, we had fun. It was this project was really a fantastic project. Seriously, the result of the project is up to now, something that people in the community loved and something that they had ties to. And even if they didn't realize what the history behind the building was, or even the property, once they come into the building, because of the way it's laid out, the way it was designed, things that were taken from the original building itself when it was still in the original high school, all of those is something that's very impressive to people who come in and look at that building. It was good. I mean, the one thing I have to say is that they're very responsive. It was a true relationship where Merit CSLAC cared. The way that they would respond back to you always kind of gives a message of whether or not they actually cared enough about the project, or if you were just one of 20 projects and you're like the smallest project that they're doing. And so, but we never had that, experience with Merit CSLAC at all. So that's what I could say about like our relationship with Merit CSLAC. They made us feel like, like they really cared about this project. They did, most certainly. Yes. Like there were a lot of ordinances and constraints, and even Livingston County, had a little bit of a hand on all of those. And I think that was like the bane of our existence. But even through all of that, they really protected the library from all of the petty going back and forth, or like following through the regulations and rules and all this other stuff. And, and that is very appreciative, because I've heard about a lot of projects where it was basically the library itself that had to take care of all of those things, but we had a good team, and Merit CSLAC was one of our like really good, people to work with on that one. Just to start with, like myself and like the building committee, for example, we were looking at it, and Ron's like, in this gymnasium, you could actually just put 3 of your libraries in there. And we're like, really? And then when he was drawing it, and seeing it in the drawing is so hard when you're trying to walk through. In the end, it did work out. It worked out really well, that if you go to the library right now, the flow just makes sense. And I think that was like the biggest thing, because even given the fact that we tried to keep as much of the old walls, or some of, and reinforce those walls, the basically when you come in, it really had a flow to it. It's not like it's all choppy, or, oh, this doesn't make sense to me, or we have to now like switch out things, right? And so it's a good mark of like the design. It certainly did with our project. Over the time, of course, it was really good to know that Merit CSLAC has done a lot of other libraries, and public libraries and school libraries and all this other stuff. And so that kind of background was also very good for what we are looking for. And so when the opportunity arose for us to purchase the old community ed building, which used to be the old high school, the original high school in town, it had a lot of rich history to it. But over time, there were a lot of like building around that particular, spot. And that was an 1888 building, which was then like, added on to become the middle school. After it became the high school, it was the middle school, and then added on some more over time, and added more, until it became like the elementary school. And then, by the time it came to us, it was the community ed building with preschool and community ed was what it was. The property had like a lot, and we didn't really need all of that. So we ended up with just, the portion of the property that had the building itself on it. And we knew we needed to like get rid of the excess space. because we needed a library that we could operate. And so it was good that we were able to come back and say to them that what we were going to preserve were the original 1888 portion of that building. When Ron was able to create a building that had the facade of the outside and also kept a lot of the historical details, from that original 1888 building, that really was very helpful. So yeah, it was really fantastic. Our experience with Merit Seaside has been, really great.